Cool. Looks like we got 26 minutes today. Um, as you can tell by the name of the video, it's going to be a hodgepodge of ideas today. Ravina is up and moving around, so you may hear her chattering in the background. She is our little girl cat who we adopted. Somebody threw her in a river and as a kitten with her brothers and sisters, and we adopted her. So she likes to talk a lot. But yeah, as I said, it's going to be a hodgepodge today. A few ideas. I'm not going to try to get too crazy here. But the first thing is thank you so much, everybody who is paying attention to these videos, because I've got an app that monitors what's going on with my videos and my YouTube presence, and it's kind of going up, and I'm showing up in more people's feeds. So I it's moving. I'm getting a little more time to record and things like that. So I'm going to try not to be too long. I did this video once already, and with my disability, part of it is I get dry eye. So, of course, they're watering all over the place and just... So I said, you know what? I'm not going to put you guys through that. And I'm going to do it a second time. So I'm redoing this video, but I just really wanted to say thank you guys so much. Please subscribe. If I can hit 1,000 subscribers, I can get back to live streaming. I've got like some giveaway stuff, ideas, one-on-one things, my gigs. I can do some live stuff on there. But yeah, so I just really wanted to say thank you, and please keep watching and let me know what you like. Feel free to leave any comments. I'll interact with you anytime. But yeah, somebody's watching the videos. They're going up. It's awesome. I did a video a couple times ago about not quitting, and I'm guilty of doing that in the past, which is not like me, but I quit. I started doing these videos, and it's like I was talking to myself. Nobody was paying any attention to me. And it's like, why? I put a lot of time into the videos, putting it together, thinking about what I want to do and say. I write pages out. I review it. I bolden some of the stuff for keywords to remind me where I'm going next. And, I probably put about $10 10 hours into a 15-minute video, like 10 pages. I mean, that's just a lot, It's like a lot of work goes into these videos. I think the shortest one is my playthrough, where I keep a journal of all the videos I do, so I don't talk too much about the same things to you guys, but I do see that you guys are watching, and I appreciate that. I appreciate all of you guys who are actually watching. And it seems like you guys really like the playthroughs, so I'll make sure to do a lot more of those. Feel free to suggest songs. I will do my very best. I'm not Geddy Lee yet, but I can do pretty much, a lot of 80s stuff. I'm actually learning a couple of Rush songs, so who knows? Maybe it's either he's a little less chaotic than I thought, or I'm actually getting better, which I'm told I am. So yeah, so okay, now the first thing out of the gate here is just I wanted to thank you guys. So there's that. Subscribe, like the videos that you really like. Share, please. Help spread me around. And then, the second thing is it's going to be about music, obviously. This is the All Things Music playlist. So, I was thinking back, and I do this sometimes, and, I have a lot of things around my place. Because I think back to high school and even before that, and that's really when I started playing live in gigs, is high school. And I want to be 51 next month, so that was a while ago. And, but I was thinking back, and I thought, what really got me into music? Why do I love music so much? Obviously, I went to school for theology, and I love, studying the Bible, and I do, my doctorate is in biblical counseling, and I love all that, yeah, of course. I put God first in everything, but it's like, here, it's like, why do I love music so much, as my other activity to do? And it's like, Jesus himself was a carpenter following after his father's footsteps, which brings me to my dad was a musician, and when I was a little kid, like 4 or 5, um, I would go to sleep at night listening to his band Moondance, which was a 1970s into like 1981. I think they parted ways when we moved to Phoenix, Arizona. But I would go to bed listening to him play, the covers. And so I would go to sleep with music all the time, and I would listen to him play. He'd sit on his amp and play the Beatles usually. And he did that well into my teens before I returned to New York and he passed away. Um, but, so I had that. And then I started school, and there was a music program. And in Arizona, they have majors in their high schools. And I actually majored in music theory and composition for 2 years. And I forgot a lot of it, but I mean, it got me kind of rekindled because I was listening to music a lot. And in the 80s in Arizona, there was a huge punk and like what they would call thrash metal scene. And so, like out there, I would hear things on the radio that when I moved back here, they didn't make it back this far to New York for like 3, 4 months. And then, the stations here would be like brand new coming out. And meanwhile, I've got mixtapes from Arizona that I had already recorded all these songs. So cassette tapes, you guys will have to look that up because a lot of you guys might not remember those. It's what came out before CDs. Um, and a CD is a round disc. That's what came out before digital for the really young people in my audience here. But in high school, a couple things happened in high school. Besides that, and I was, exposed to the punk and thrash scene. Really got into the Ramones. Back then, it was the Ramones, Dead Kennedys, Social Distortion, were my three biggest. And then I got into another class. I took speech to learn how to do public speaking, which I was already pretty good at. I was kind of a class clown. I know you'll find that hard to believe. But I was always, I wanted to take the class because I figured it'd be easy. But there was a girl in there, and her name was Becky. I remember it, ninth grade. And she was a Christian, which I never met a Christian before, really didn't know anything about it. I went to Catholic school as a kid, and I understood that. But so at the same time, I was going on 15, 16, and I went into the hospital in Arizona. They had a wing in the hospital that was doing research and observation on juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, the systematic, like I have. So they were taking like teens and younger in there to observe and see, do testing and learn more about how the process goes. And so there was a few of us in there, quite a few, probably about 10, that were born with it like me and developed over time. Well, there was a guy that visited me in there. So between him and he was a Christian. So you had him and you had Becky. Well, they both were talking about Striper. So I started, it was Becky in school that actually copied the Soldiers Under Command album. And I listened to it and I'm like, man, that sounds a lot like the Iron Maiden riffs that I was listening to. They were pretty heavy and I thought that was really cool. I mean, the vocals were a little girly, but I thought it was really cool. I mean, that was metal. And before that, I should have backed up one step because as a kid, I couldn't go outside and run around and play with the other kids like other kids do. So I had a neighbor that brought over a set of Kiss cards, like trading cards, like you would get as a kid with baseball cards or football cards, and you get a stick of bubble gum. Well, Kiss put out a series of cards with the original lineup, Ace, Gene, Peter, Paul, before 1980. So he kind of got me into them. I thought, well, that was really cool. And then when I was like 7 or 8, Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park was on TV. It was like a big deal. Watching it now, it's like really corny. But, and I actually have a copy. My brother bought it for me before he died, actually. Everybody in my family dies young, but that's another video. Uh, so, there was that. And my dad, when we first got to Arizona, was going to take me to a Kiss concert. I kick myself now. I was afraid of Gene Simmons. I thought he was a real monster. Now that I've picked up the bass, I really like his bass style. but I would love to have met him. So, okay, going on. So then, Arizona, and my dad was dying from cancer. So I moved back to New York to stay with my mom, finish out school, and then get on my own because I was already about to be an adult. I was just 19 when I moved back to New York. Dad passed when I was 20, a week after my 20th birthday. But I, you know, I finished school. I was in a band, and I was playing shows, mostly private parties and things like that. But writing originals already. My band Araya came out of that. First gig being on K Rock, which you can go back. My voice is awful. I'm sorry. It's even worse than now. But I might redo that beginning on the downbeat because it talks about where I got started in drumming. But I started playing a lot, and there was a battle of the bands in Herkimer, 91 going into 92. And I thought it was really cool. And right at this part, I'm going to ask you guys a couple questions. Any questions that I ask or anything I talk about, feel free to put answers or thoughts in the comments. I'll interact with you, like I said. Please, I would love that. Really help me grow. Subscribe, like the videos, interact with me, and I'll interact with you. I love interacting. I always spend time after shows and talk to people backstage and hang out as long as they want. But okay, so went to the Battle of the Bands, and I recognized a lot of the bands. They were local bands. We were playing a few clubs back then. I was still young, just starting out, but Araya was moving. But I recognized a lot of the names, so I'm like, all right, I'll go. And towards the end of the night, before my friend's band was playing, another band came on stage, and I'm watching them set up the drum cage, and it's huge. It's like Metallica meets Iron Maiden or something. It's huge. They start jamming, and it's like it's a Christian band. Never heard of a local Christian band. And so the band was called Kingsgate, and I have here. I'm gonna be reaching for a couple things, guys. So bear with me. All right, what do I got here? So, I got backstage and met these guys. They laugh at it now, but man, this is really old. Let's see where you guys are at here. So that was that. That was the cassette tape, and see where this is at. It's kind of wanting to fall apart, so I'm not going to do a whole lot with it. It's, like I said, pretty old. It's like 30 years old. But see if I can get this for you guys to see. They signed it. That's their cassette tape. So, there's that. And I actually transferred it to CD because you know what happens to cassette tapes after time. They get eaten and then it gets downhill from there. So, yeah, okay, where are we at here? Let me make sure. Okay, we're halftime. So I got a little more time. So, Carl, the drummer, and I got to be really good friends. He turned me on to a lot more Christian metal. I was really liking the secular side, as they call it. I was really heavily into the 80s and New Wave. Love the symphonic synthesizers and like what would kind of sound like strings, like in classical music. The slower, lower stuff. Very, I guess they would call it emo stuff now, but so he turned me on to a band called Savior Machine. And that's Eric Clayton is the head guy, and he signed that for some fans that bought a book that he had. But they're very he's got the makeup, and it's a very, he would say, a cross between like Pink Floyd, old David Bowie, like I said before, very symphonic. Also, There was a girl from Africa who came here, and she started a record label out of her garage of really underground Christian stuff, like weird stuff, like really underground. But, and I'll show you the CD I got from them, but and The Awakening was one of her bands that she followed. Ashton Knight was out of Africa, South Africa, and I got to be friends, actually, strangely, with his wife, who he met here. Rose Mortem has been in Gothic Beauty magazine. She did like costumes and stuff for movies and things. She's like a seamstress, but she also plays keyboard. But then I also found a band called Babylon Mystery Orchestra. Sidney Allen Johnson is one of my other good friends. And they put out 6 albums. He did it all himself, recorded at a home studio in his house, did all the artwork for the liner notes, and some of them are books. Uh, did it all himself. He gets the boxes sent back to him, and he distributes it himself. He signed all 6 albums. At the moment, he's not really doing a lot of recording. Really hoping he gets back to it. And, so part of this, as I'm showing you, is that, over the years I've collected some not only good friends in the industry, but, on the Christian side, I've really gotten some really good friends, and I've learned about some really good bands. I didn't realize that they were out there. Like, the stuff that I would normally listen to, like Typo Negative, The Cure, heavier stuff. It was out there for people that wanted to hear some Christian stuff. And I try to listen to all kinds of music. So if it's got a good lyric and it's not perverted or profane, I check it out. I got this, also signed by Rose Mortem and Ashton Knight, like I said, from The Awakening, which I learned about from Arlene from Youngside Records. She's not currently going. I think she retired. But for a while, she was running her own business where she had all kinds of music that she was distributing out of a underground music store that she started up called Youngside Records. And they still have some merchandise if you want to check it out. Like, she's still selling some stuff off. She actually was funny because she was into rap and then industrial goth rock, I guess you would call it. I don't even know what you would call it. Probably industrial would be a good. A lot of synthesizers and distortion and down-tuned basses, guitars, vocals, very low, like Typo Negative. Trying to think of some bands like 69 Eyes type stuff. And so yeah, there's that. Now, after I made friends with Carl from Kingsgate, getting back to that for a second, I was moving into an apartment in Utica in 94, June 94. And the day that we moved into the apartment and started moving in, I had tickets already to go to Metallica in Syracuse. So we went out to Syracuse for the show, and I saw Suicidal Tendencies also, who I really liked the music. Robert Trujillo is a great bass player. Mike's a great singer. So went to that, saw Metallica. Now Metallica, almost done with the show, and I'm going to get a soda at the stand, and the manager comes over and says, "Listen, the band wanted to know if you would come backstage after." And I'm like, yeah, they were one of my favorites. And Lars was definitely one of my favorite drummers growing up. Really, really liked him a lot. He was probably my favorite drummer for a long time. I don't like to use the word idol, but I probably idolized him. Copied his stuff. It's how I learned to play drums, putting their albums on and copying what he did. Even bought the same drums and cymbals. But, I mean, as far as, his language is horrendous, but they don't use profanity in their songs, as far as I know. I haven't heard one yet. But they're really well-written lyrics. And so, the music is something you could listen to, very socio-political. But they were really good, especially the first few albums in the 80s when they were still pretty heavy. Um, it's another topic. I mean, I like the later stuff too, as it is. But so I got to see them, got backstage. Backstage, Kirk Hammett comes over, grabs me by the wheelchair, and drives me over to his table, parks me behind it where he's sitting down and signing autographs. And he got me a beer, which I didn't really drink beer, but I wasn't gonna, I think I took a couple sips just to, you know, not hurt feelings. We talked for a few hours, probably close to 4 hours. We were late getting home for our ride and whatever, but so so he ended up signing my ticket, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to show you guys this. It's actually my lyric book, my song book, which I have also talked about in videos that you guys should probably have. But see if I can do this. If I can't, I'll try to get a picture and put it on here. Did you guys see that at all? Okay. That's the ticket that he signed um, back in '94. And then on that same page in the book, I put, I saw a typo negative twice. Johnny actually heard some of my music, Johnny Kelly online when MySpace was still around, and just got a few more minutes, guys. So I got to see them and got backstage in 2009 for their show in New York City. My wife drove down and drove me. So she got backstage and everything, and we almost didn't get in because the security guy wasn't going to let me in. And somebody opened the door to go in, and I saw Johnny go by, and I yelled in, "Hey, Johnny!" And he looked out, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, let him in." Well, it turns out I got the same tattoos, Alpha and Omega, that Pete had. So Johnny was like, "Hey, you got to see this." So Pete's like, bring him in here." Got pictures with them, got signatures by Johnny, Kenny, and Pete. 6 months later, Pete died unexpectedly from some kind of intestinal infection. Got his life cleaned up, got off, drinking and whatever, and was doing well. And died unexpectedly on April 14th, 2010. So obviously, that's something that's going to be cherished because once in a lifetime, right? Now, there's that. So that's, over the years, I've really enjoyed music. And I love the heavier music, and I love the slower, doomier, I guess you could call it. Um, the Book of Revelation type stuff, but to like a very classical music. I like classical music too, and jazz. I like a little bit of everything. The '80s, I think, is always going to be my favorite style. It was peppy. It was happy. It was the rock was really good. They weren't really saying much. It wasn't dirty and profane like it is now. But that's another topic. So I'm going to end with my third topic for this video, and I'm going to ask you guys. Now, Wasp, Blackie Lawless was a Christian. He read the Bible and whatever started out. Then he went, if you know the story of Wasp, he got really bad. He started doing really perverse lyrics and profane. And he said that it caught up to him that he didn't feel good a lot of the time. So he got out of that, and then he went back to writing, okay, Christian lyrics with the Wasp style, kept the band name. Now, I've got a lot of songs that I've written that they're not like overly preachy, I guess you would say, but they have really good Christian friendly themes, um, apocalyptic type stuff, things that are going on in our society and whatever, kind of like what I write normally, but with a little more of a bent towards the Christian side. Now, Araya has been a band that's been ongoing. We recorded our last album a few years ago, and I've got more material to record the next one, God willing. Um, so, would you recommend, and I've read, and heard comments on both sides of this, that Rhea being going as long as it has, should I just keep that name and record the new stuff under that, like Blackie Lawless did, and kept the name Wasp and the sound and everything, and just went back to, his Christian themes? Or should I do the side project that I thought about and have invested a little bit into the name, The Reformed, for just that music? And it's the same style as Araya, it's just a different content. So we're coming up on 1 minute to end this thing. All right, it's going to shut me off. So leave your comments on that too and the other questions that I asked. And again, you guys, thank you so much for all that you're doing. Please keep helping, keep watching, share my videos, like my videos. Spread me around like nutter butter fluff or whatever they call that, peanut butter fluff sandwiches. But thank you for all that you're doing. Please keep doing it. And let me know what you would like more of on here. And I'll do it. And I'll do more playthroughs. I'm going to try to do at least a couple a week. And I've got Soil, Unreal. I've got System of a Down. Uh, I went blank. I can do System of a Down, Chop Suey, or Unreal, or I can do. You pick. Let me know what you want to hear. I can do Pink Floyd, Comfortably Numb. Let me know what you want the next one to be. All right? I'm going to stop here and thank you guys so much. And it's Saturday, so I'm going to see you guys on Wednesday, and I'll try to do whatever song you pick. I'll do it before that. Give me some topic ideas too, because I'm looking for more to know what you guys want to hear. All right? They're going to shut me off, guys. Have a great rest of the weekend, and I'll see you in a couple days. God bless.